It's my birthday today. Cheers. If you're watching this on the day it goes live, which is October 25th, then it is in fact my 34th birthday. And to celebrate with you on my channel, what I wanted to do was a little ask me anything, get ready with me. So this is going to be like more of a personal video and like less about makeup. You're either going to be here for that or you're not. We're not going to talk about makeup. The face of makeup I'm going to do today is old favorites mixed with new favorites, but I'm not really going to talk about them. I'll have everything in the description box if you happen to be interested in something that I'm using. Is it 3:45 on a Wednesday? Yeah, but I don't have to work tomorrow or the next day. Question one. Okay, doozy. Can you talk about your experience dating as a non-binary person? I mean, I can't say that like I'm a really good call to like really get into this. I'm just gonna be honest and I'm gonna be blunt. I still feel like my target demo is like gay men, unfortunately, but then gay men don't, I'm gonna be very general. So don't take that like I don't think this about every single gay man. Gay men tend to be pretty misogynistic. They'll like be allies, but they don't want to date feminine people. The real assholes in that group will be like, I'm gay, I'm into masculinity. Trying to date straight men, oftentimes they don't get it. It's not the most fun. The first time I dated him, I was a man. And the second time I dated him, I was non-binary. I think both times my femininity was a turnoff. He like couldn't admit that to himself. I really did a hack job shaving today. I've kind of gotten to this point in my life. I've done a lot of reflecting on this. I don't consider myself like on the market. I have basically been independent and flying solo for a really long time. I like dating people. Like I like doing like long-term dating situations. Like I like having a person around, but I do think I'm at my best and my happiest when I am alone. I understand that the dynamic that me and my roommate Tiff have is perhaps perceived as a little bizarre, but living together for a year and a half, we have the child with us. I'm not like technically a parent to the child, but like I have a little bit of a role of like that in his life. And that is so much more important to me than dating. I actually can't see a world, at least for the foreseeable future, where Tiff and I, the child and I, aren't living together. We might not always live here, but like that's my family. That's how I view them. I'm not like committed to that completely. I don't feel happy trying to date. I feel bad actually when I'm dating. I'm also fat, which like it adds to the complexities of dating. Like people don't want to date fat people. I'm a tough sell. The way I am on here, I present like very like fun loving and like your BFF. I have a propensity to just say whatever I want. Like you guys have to keep in mind that you see a very edited version of me. You know, I get to edit this after. And I'm not saying that I'm like in the edit pulling out like the worst things you'll ever hear someone say, but sometimes I'll say something and I'm like, well, I don't really like the way it's said. But in IRL, sometimes things just fly out of my mouth, and not so much in like the way where I'm intending on hurting the other person. This says it. I feel like that's very Scorpio of me. Like if someone wanted to date me, like they could, but like also I'm not, you know, it's like I'm not really like putting myself out there. I find the dating apps so tedious, and you know, swiping, when I swipe on dating apps, phrase that goes through my mind over and over again is, it's actually something I can't even say on YouTube or I'll get demonetized. It makes me want to end it all. That's how it feels. That's the phrase that goes on over and over again in my head whenever I'm like on a dating app. I don't find it enjoyable. I don't want it to sound like if someone came along and, you know, we hit it off like organically. I just don't think I'm like gonna be someone who's on a dating app. But I'm also not like in search of friends who are trying to introduce me to friends either. Like I just don't care. I'm very self-fulfilled without the idea of a partner. And I think for a long time, I thought maybe I was just being stubborn because I like wanted my life to be a certain way. But then also like, am I not allowed to like want that for myself? Being non-binary, fat, and then like this being part of what I do, it's just like a hard sell. And not that if I was dating someone, I like would have to like tell you about that. And I have before, but like it never got me into trouble. But I also, because men aren't watching my channel. For the most part, there are a few of you. What would you tell 24-year-old Tom? Calm down. 24-year-old me. I don't know, honestly, because it's like, just like, you'll figure it out, but like also it's not gonna look anything like the way you think it's gonna look or what you think it should look like. But the other thing is, it's like, I don't think I have everything figured out either. But like 24 was like not a great year. So just like, you'll be on the other side of it. Like you'll get out of this, but then you'll fall into something else that's also very hard. When you get to your 30s, you get to relax. And unfortunately, there's like nothing I can tell you that's gonna like fix that, because it's too anxious and self-conscious at that age to really know anything about anything. Who would you say has or does inspire you most in your life to date? I don't know, like me? It's been a lot of persevering in my life. I feel like I have been fighting for my life since middle school, trying to figure out what happiness and contentment means, and I'm still here. And there were a few times in my life where that did not seem likely that I would still be with us. I take inspiration from so many people. Tiff has been going through it quite a bit the last couple of years, and I think it's really inspirational that like they have continued to fight, but also have like a sense of optimism in living and continuing and trying to figure out and just seeing and hoping for the best moving forward, but not in a way that I feel like they seem gullible or anything. Like they know what life could be and should be for them, and they continue striving for it. And I feel like that's it. I haven't had a lot of people to look up to in my life. The life that I lead was not something that I saw, and every time I make a choice that doesn't seem to go with the flow or make life easier for me, I feel like everyone around me feels like I'm making a mistake, but I'm just actually like doing what's best for me. I think the best example of this would be like whenever I was supposed to be finishing college, I only had 3 credits left. I only had to do an internship. I was in a major I hated, and it's not that I wasn't ready to like quote unquote be an adult, because I think my trajectory wouldn't have been much different had I finished college. I would have just had finished college and been in the same situation. But like, I just didn't finish college. I did finish eventually, but like in that moment, like whenever after my 4 years of undergrad was done, I didn't finish. I didn't finish the last 3 credits. That's all I had to do to have a degree. And I feel like everyone around me told me that that was like the biggest mistake. Like, you need to do that. Like, that's gonna be like what's best for you. And I just don't think it was, because I would have tried to find a career in PR, and like that's just like not what I wanted to do. As I've gotten older, basically running a YouTube channel is being your own PR person. So like I know a lot of things. I'm not putting out press releases and putting together press junkets or anything. I'm not that kind of popular. Like that's not what I mean by that. But what I mean by that is just like learned a lot learning PR, but it just like wasn't my destiny to like do that kind of thing. And then I just worked odd jobs and really didn't have like a goal in mind. I think sitting down and coming up with one, or trying to force myself up to come up with one, wouldn't have been right. And I just feel like all the people who really have quote unquote their lives together that I saw were really creating lives where they were actually miserable, but like they had money. And like that was the difference. They were miserable and had money, and I just wanted to chase what I thought would make me the most happy. I don't know that I've gotten it like 100% right on my own either. But what I do know is like, I'm glad that one of my mom tried to bully me into going to nursing school, because I would make a lot of money as a nurse and they need male nurses. Like there was like a shortage of male nurses at the time. This was like early 2010s. This was like it was like a thing. It was like they were talking about that stuff on the news. I don't want to be a nurse. I wouldn't be a good nurse. I'm not saying that that's like not a profession people should go into, just like it wasn't for me. Trusting myself enough to know that like chasing happiness, chasing the high of just trying to be as happy as I can in as much of my life as I can be, was more important than having like a steady job or anything like that. And like there are, there's a lot of privilege in saying that and having the ability to do that, because it was. But like, I was also always making my own money. I have my own financial issues that I have gotten myself into. Like, those are all things that I did. But like, ultimately, like when I think back on my, like what I've done thus far, I do feel like for the most part, like I was chasing joy as much as I could. And I just don't feel like that the people around me up until recently had that similar mindset to me. Turning 34 this year too, do you feel like you also just started to understand yourself? Not just. I don't know what your situation is. I think when you are ostracized for things when you're younger, and I'm not saying that you were never ostracized, person who asked this question, I think there's a lot more figuring yourself out quicker, especially if you like don't repress it 100%. Like whenever I like had the understanding that I was gay when I was younger. Well, that's that. There was no fighting it in my brain. I was just like, I'm gay. And I didn't like come out to everyone at that moment, but I was just like, okay, that's it. You know, I'm gay. I think I really started figuring things out when I was 29 going into 30. And it does have everything to do with the pandemic and me not working for 3 months and slowing down. I think that really helped me prioritize like what I wanted out of life. I think some of us, not everyone was afforded the opportunity to slow down. Like anyone who was, this is it right on the tip of my nose. That's why like I was putting foundation on it earlier and it like hurt. I've been anesthetized. Sorry. That's when I figured out a lot of things. I was working too much and I still think I have the propensity to work too much, but I've done some self-reflection and I think that's like a childhood thing. I did a lot of extracurricular activities when I was young. When I was in high school, I was doing something all the time after school. I was like in band, played tennis, not for the school, but like played tennis, took private flute lessons, took singing lessons. Like I was like, it was just like Monday through Friday. It was like school, homework, extracurricular, bed, school, homework, extracurricular, bed. And sometimes on the weekends, I was doing a lot. And I think that transferred into my adulthood. And then like before the pandemic, as everything was happening, I was working full-time at a salon as a front desk manager. I was working at Sephora part-time in the evenings and weekends. Not every evening, because like some evenings. And then I was also going to beauty school part-time. And I just realized that I was living my life for other things and people. I wanted to live for myself. So whenever things started opening back up, I was just like, I'm not ever going to go back to that. And like, that's when, you know, all of that time to think was like, I'm non-binary. Like that was like when a lot of things happened. But I do feel like when a thought comes through my mind that would maybe make me uncomfortable previously, I kind of let it simmer and try to figure it out. And not that it happens immediately, but I'm not like pushing away those thoughts. I'm just allowing myself to like figure out who I am. And even if it's something scary or could be something scary, I think it was just a little ahead of the curve in that kind of thing. What's your plan with your hairstyle? I love seeing the evolution. Thank you so much. So you must be new. This all happened this year. At the beginning of this year, my hairstylist wanted to try something on me and I wanted to change up my hair anyway. What she wanted to do was a disconnected mullet. So at the beginning of the year, it was kind of like buzzed on the sides and like long on top as it had been for a long time. But then if you looked at the back of my head, it was buzzed except for right like at the bottom here and then like the hair that's like the longest on the back of my head. That was what was growing. And it took a while for that to like take shape. I like didn't like it. And then once it got a little bit longer, I liked it. But then the second my hair started to like touch my shoulder when my shoulder would lift up, I was like, oh, I would like to have long hair. Sorry, I need my hands to talk about my hair. I want to have long hair. And so like, kind of relating to the last question, my gender identity is not like super up for debate or questioning right now, but it's like a thing that I'm grappling with. And it's like not something, we don't need to go run and tell everyone that like Tom's a trans girl. That's not what I'm saying. Like, but it's like, but what would that like I want to go along, let's go along, let's see how I feel about that, because like there are aspects of my body that like are a little more feminine and I really like that, and I'm like, do I just want to be all of that or do I want to keep being like the combo? The hair hit my shoulder and I was like, woman. It like happened, the thought process happened so quickly. It's gonna be a mullet. So the front is in its final evolution. So baby bangs, shaved here. I just don't like hair here. So it's like buzzed to here, and I want this to be really long. Think of Hannah's hair whenever it was really shaggy. I want that to be like, I want big volume hair in the back. But because we started growing out my hair and the hair down here is longer, it's like there's no hair up here to like really do anything with yet. It's still pretty short back there. So my hairstylist mentioned extensions one time when I was getting my hair cut. And I was like, you should have never said that to me. Now it's going to happen. And so, if you didn't see, for my birthday, Tiff got me the extensions. Now my hairstylist, I did like see her over the weekend and she was like, I think you might need to buy more, which is totally fine. I can certainly buy more. But like I don't know that every hairstylist would do this. So whenever she brought up extensions, I was like, I can't afford that. Even though I really liked the idea of it, she was like, well, you could just buy the hair and bring it in. And, you know, she told Tiff what to buy. And I think that buying the hair is the most expensive part, but I'm cutting out the upcharge of the middleman and she is just installing them. Now, I have a very good rapport with my hairstylist, which is why I think that she's allowing this to work out this way. So I'm not sure that everyone who does hair extensions would like allow you to do that, but that's like the game plan. So this hair is a little too short right now. My hairstylist thinks by the end of the year we could install. And so hopefully whenever we put the extensions in, I'm going to be able to have like the body and the shag that I want. I think the only thing I need to ask for is like, I need to be able to pull it up in a ponytail where I can get it off my shoulders because sensory things. I don't always love having hair on my shoulders. So sometimes like it's long enough that I can like pin it up now. And I have to do that sometimes because I don't want it on my shoulders anymore. Put my head on Hannah Louise Poston's videos right before she left California and like right when she moved into the new house. That's the back. That's what should be happening back there. Is there anything you missed from when you began making beauty content? I mean, I think yes and no. There's something so pure. You're not as good at editing and like the videos are like long and rambly. And if you ever watch back an old video as a content creator, you go like, why did I leave that in? Did I think that was an artistic choice? This is going to sound so weird, but I do kind of miss like less people watching. The more that people are watching, the more the craving for wanting more people to watch just kind of seeps into your mind. And back then, analytics didn't really mean anything to me because there was no one watching. When a video would get like 100 views, that was like incredible. And now I get like 100 views in an hour. But if I only got 100 views on a video, I would be like devastated and it would feel like I'm such a failure. I can't believe only 100 people wanted to watch me, but like that's still a lot of people. If I was in a room with 100 people, like 100 of you, that would feel like a lot of people who were there to watch me. But like contextually on the internet, it's like the more you grow, the more the expectation is that you will continue to grow and your views will grow. Well, that was always something I was striving for at the beginning. You couldn't care that much about it because there was nothing doing. There was nothing going on. What's the biggest thing you learned in your 33rd year that you want to bring forward? I don't know if there's anything big revelation that I've had this year. I was tested a little bit this year, I would say. Personally, and also publicly online, I feel there was like things that happened that everyone's watched. I have to leave what isn't serving me in the past and just like continue moving forward. No matter how much that hurts me or other people, if it's not serving me, I can't continue to behave and include people, things in my life that aren't serving me. I feel like this year I've put it to practice even more, but I hope like in the future I'm more perceptible. I have the knowledge to maybe see things coming faster and not have that happen at all. Where like the thing that isn't serving me, the person who isn't serving me doesn't make it in. So it doesn't feel as bad whenever that has to go away or end. When did you feel your opinions about consumption changed? And what was the catalyst? Actually, it's all on my channel. I started really making beauty content. While there are videos before this time, my channel started in 2021. And the catalyst for it starting with me posting regularly was the fact that I no longer worked at Sephora. I really missed working in beauty and I had my hand in the beauty tube. I've tried it before and like nothing really clicked. And so when I started making beauty content again in 2021, it started with a declutter. I would say for the first like half of the year of 2021, there was no vision for what I was doing. I was just like making beauty content. And then Pat McGrath, it's all connected, was releasing Utopian Dreams that summer. And up until that point, I was such a fan of Pat McGrath. I wanted everything that the brand put out. The brand could do no wrong in my brain. And then they released Utopian Dream and it felt like they were treading old territory. That was the first time where I was like, I don't want to buy that. And then I was like, perhaps there are other things in my makeup collection that I have purchased that maybe if I would have spent more time thinking about, I wouldn't have bought them either. There were a lot of things in my makeup collection that I wasn't using. I told myself I liked it, but I was like, do I actually like that thing? Do I use that thing? And the answer for a vast majority of it was no. I also had spent a lot of money on it. There's a bug in here. I went on a no buy. I had been watching Hannah Louise Poston's content leading into my no buy. And like, so I was definitely inspired by her no buy, but I actually was watching Hannah in real time. I wasn't watching her no buy content. I have watched it since. Well, I need to figure out what my no buy is going to look like for me without like watching someone's no buy. And I didn't do a whole year. I did 6 months of the no buy. And I feel like when I did the 6-month no buy, made it very clear to me that I love makeup and I love using makeup. I've never been a project panner. I think I tried it in that 6-month period, but I had like watched some of it. It's not my favorite content to watch either. And I also didn't really like love making project panning content. Watching enough project pan content to understand how long it will take to actually use up a piece of makeup is like pretty eye-opening if you've never spent the time panning something or watch someone pan something. Like diligently trying to use up a piece of makeup. I don't need to be spending all this money. I have plenty of beautiful things. I can make any color story I want with the makeup that I have. The flip side of that thought was also like, I don't really like every color story, so I don't need all of the colors. And so the past 3 years have been figuring out how I want to continue navigating the beauty. Like, I know I say that all the time. It's like, it sounds like I'm a parody of myself. Like I'm navigating the beauty space, but like I am navigating the beauty space. And the thing is that there have been new curveballs that have come since I've started being more aware, because now when I buy makeup, it's layered. I'm not always buying makeup just for my sheer interest. It's like, sometimes I buy makeup because I think a lot of you would be interested in hearing my thoughts on it. I buy a piece of makeup because it's viral. It might get people to come to my channel that don't already watch my channel to watch a review. And then hopefully they like the review, they stick around and like, you know, learn more about like what I do on a regular basis. Breaking the parasocial relationship I had with the brand Pat McGrath and feeling like to be part of beauty, to be part of luxury beauty, I had to be buying every Pat McGrath release. Breaking that down was really like the first step, which is why whenever I talk about brands who have very popular owners or people have like parasocial relationships with brands, I really try to fight back when people get in my comment section and they try to like defend the brand. You know, sometimes it's not even so much that I'm like, you know, disparaging the brand, but it's just like, if I have an opinion that like the fans don't like, it's like, why are you sitting here and defending a makeup brand? That brand doesn't care about me or you. So it's like, you don't need to spend your money on them. Think about it really. It's not that I'm never going to buy from the brand Pat McGrath again. The whole thing is like, Pat McGrath, the brand, has to earn my money by making something that I think I'm going to want to use a lot in order to get my money. And I think every brand, it's kind of like the idea of like innocent until proven guilty. It's like, I'm not buying your thing until you prove to me that thing is worth buying or that all your thing's worth buying. Because I think some people approach it differently, where it's like, I'll buy everything from that brand and then I'll find out after the fact that I don't like it. I won't put in the work or the thoughts before I buy it to make sure that that thing's going to work for me as best I can. You don't always know. There's no perfect way to like navigate this. There's always going to be things that you buy that you think are going to work for you that end up not. But I think a lot of people don't even try to put work in before they buy something. They see the shiny thing and they're like, well, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy the new thing. And then there's also like the habit of shopping and getting your dopamine from shopping, which I think is like more layered. Like it's a part of the makeup process. So just like, let's remind I want to remind myself and remind you that the part of makeup that should be the most enjoyable is using it, not buying it or waiting for it to get to your house, which is before all of this work. That was my favorite part, was like tracking it and getting it and opening it that first time and swatching it. And now it's like, oh, I really like using this thing. And if I don't like using this thing, then it doesn't get to stick around. What are your plans and hopes for your channel? I would like for it to be my full-time job. It always feels like gauche to say that. I work really hard on it. I would love to like work harder on it as well. I've recently like stepped away from the idea that I need to have like 3 videos posted each week. If it happens, great. But if not, that's also fine. It just requires so much time and energy to put out videos. It just does. To film them, to edit them, and then to get better at filming and editing them, it requires more and more. It just requires more. I only have so much time in the week. I work full time. I'm so proud of my channel and where it is and what I've been able to do. I have a lot more in me. And I also have like ideas for doing multiple channels if I ever am able to like make enough money on this to do it full time. But the thing is, it's like, I can't explain how much time this takes. And I'm choosing to do that. I'm not complaining about that. I work from 6 in the morning until 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, almost every Monday through Friday. I do prioritize friends if they want to spend time with me. YouTube is always the first thing bumped. If I want to do something else or if someone wants to spend time with me, like YouTube gets bumped first. I also like planning ahead. So most of the time, like I'm not really one of those people who someone's going to call last minute for plans. And if they did and I really found those plans enticing, I would participate in them. If I know in advance where I'm going to have to be and what I need to do before then, most of the time I can arrange my life where the same amount of content's being produced and I still get to go out with my friends when I would normally be doing YouTube stuff. And then I try to keep the weekends free, but most of the time I'm working on YouTube at least in the mornings on the weekend. And then I try to like not do it in the afternoon. I would like for YouTube to be my full-time job. This is hopeful. I don't know that this is something I would be able to actually make happen. I would just do 40 hours Monday through Friday working on YouTube stuff. That's what I want to do. For example, I like to take a longer time on my reviews, but reviews take a longer time because I just don't have time all the time to put makeup on, wear test, because I start my other job at 6 a.m. So it's like, I don't want to have to put a full face of makeup on at 4:30 in the morning and then do a wear test. Like, that's not fun. So all of my wear testing stuff normally happens on the weekends. So I can like see how something wears for a long period of time, because yeah, I do put makeup on in the afternoon to do videos and stuff. If I start doing my video at 2:30 and I don't finish filming until 4 and I'm going to wash it off around 7, it's like, that's not a wear test. That's just like, I put it on, I know how it applies. I think that that would make my life better. And also just like the work-life balance of things would feel better. I love this. I keep doing it because I love it. I don't make a lot of, like, I do make some money doing this through Patreon and channel memberships. I do make money on AdSense, but it's like probably not as much as you think that I make. I've also learned at Creator Friends that for my size, I get like a lot of views. The proportion of people who watch my content and engage with it versus how many subscribers I have is like really good. I just think I could do more. I've always wanted to do like filming in like other parts of the house, but that's really hard to do when everyone's home because it's like, then I'm in everyone's way. For example, the Lisa Eldridge skin tint. When I was reviewing that, I had like a whole, well, I mean, I script most of my foundation reviews, not like word for word, but I outline them. Most of my videos I'm just doing off the cuff. But I had this like whole thing where I was going to be like, the whole video concept was I was going to be annoyed that you kept catching me random times and at points in my house where I was like doing something else and you were like asking me more questions about the Lisa Eldridge skin tint. And like that requires more filming and more editing. And it's just like, I didn't have time to do that in order to put the video out in a timely manner and in order for it to make sense. If I would have put that video out like weeks and months later, no one would have cared about that. And my review would have been like really fun to watch. But if I had more time where I wasn't working the other job 8 hours in a day, I would have been able to like film that and edit that together and then also have a better understanding. And the more I can do that kind of fun stuff, the more I understand and can do that better. And then everything just becomes better. Like, I just want to make content because I think I have it in me to like script things to be like funny. I just don't have time to like script and do all of that. I would love to be able to do like commentary videos and stuff like that. I want to like write jokes and stuff for that, but I can't do that right now with the way my channel is. And like when I say commentary, like I mean like makeup commentary, but not like telling you brand stories and things like that. Just like, I just think I have that in me. I want to make a music channel and I have like a whole idea of what that can look like. I've talked about it so many times, but it's just like, I've tried sitting down doing it and it's going to take me so much time the way I want to do it. And I can't do that right now. So it's just like, I want it to be something bigger than it is, but also I don't want it to blow up overnight. It'd be cool if it did, but also I think watching Chappell Roan, and I'm not saying that I'm anything like Chappell Roan, I don't want anything like that burst of success to happen all at once for me because it looks overwhelming. I think we saw that in real time with her. I love it when you sing. Did you sing much growing up as a kid? Yeah. I loved American Idol. Loved American Idol. Like, I was there season 1, voting for Miss Kelly Clarkson, and it was my passion to be a pop star. I wanted to be a pop star so bad. Structured singing things are not really my jam. Structured anything isn't my jam as an adult, but even as a kid, being in chorus, I was already in band. Being in band and chorus wasn't gonna make me any more popular, but I love to sing. When no one was in the house, there was this one room in my parents' house that had a, like, there was stairs that descended and there was a mirror across from the stairs, like all the way on the other side of the living room. And I would come down with my little microphone that I bought. And like, the microphone wasn't like projecting sound, by the way, I was just holding it as a prop. And I would sing and sing and sing and sing. I love to sing. I love, 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 love singing. But I never really got into karaoke. I really enjoy it. And I do think I'm like, you know, pretty gifted at it, but I also like never took the time to like learn how to write songs or anything like that. I don't even think it's like too late for me to like learn how to do those things. It's always been a goal of mine to like produce a song. But then like, I don't know if any of you have like messed around with like music production. I really don't know what I'm doing. And of course, whenever I started doing YouTube, I really didn't know how to edit videos, but like music stuff's like really overwhelming. I like tried once to produce a little cover, and I was like, this sounds terrible. And I don't even mean as my singing, just like I didn't know what I was doing. And then to pay someone to help you produce thing costs a ton of money. So I also wasn't about to do that. When Tiff and Gid aren't in the house, I turn on the music and I'm singing full chest, full volume. I love it. I think it's a release. I played the flute for 10 years whenever I was like in elementary school and in high school. And I also took private lessons. And I always felt so good about playing the flute. And it was always kind of therapeutic feeling. And my flute teacher, and I believe this because it just makes sense because it's basically singing. Well, to be a good singer requires breathing properly, and so does playing the flute. It's purposeful inhale and exhale of breath, which meditation is that as well. So like it's something that helps center. And of course, like whenever you're singing a song, there's like the emotional core of that song that's also getting projected out with the breathing. It's so great to sing. I love singing. I love singing. I would do exactly what every other YouTuber does that can kind of sing. The second I am famous enough to be like, I can put out a single, I'm gonna put out a single. So everyone has to subscribe because you need a Homeless Top single. Of course, I don't think that would really generate a music career, but like, why can't I be the 35-year-old Addison Rae? Someone tell me why I can't be that, but it's what I want. It's my desire. What have you read recently? With that rant I went on about like how much work YouTube is, like when I have free time, I like to spend it with Tiff. And I know we're normally watching TV. I do listen to podcasts throughout the day when I'm working. I have found that conversational structure is better for me than listening to something that like is telling a story, like a linear structure of a story. I have issues following that when I'm working. Whenever I'm editing stuff, I have to hear myself. So it's like, I can't really listen to audiobooks doing that. And so I don't do a lot of reading these days, or even listening to audiobooks, which I consider reading, but it's a different format. What piece of clothing, what color, what makeup piece pulls you together when you're feeling down? Just doing my makeup normally helps. It doesn't have to be a specific thing. Just like if I'm feeling like yucky about myself, just doing my makeup is normally pretty helpful in that scenario. What's the hardest, most rewarding thing you have learned / gained from being on YouTube? I think helping create further community for people who've overconsumed and are looking for a place to have conversations in the comments, but also, watch someone who doesn't care about the brands. Like if Surratt released a stinker tomorrow and I didn't like it, I would tell you that. And if Surratt took me off their PR list, no harm, no foul. That doesn't bother me. I think we've put makeup on this pedestal, and if I can help be the part of the process for someone breaking down how much they were into a brand and how harmful that was to them and their wallet, I would love to be a part of that, but I can't do that work for people. But I love to be a space where people can like dip their toes in and find someone, I don't know, not trying to talk around things. I guess that's what I hope. That's what I hope I'm bringing to the space. I need to put it on a lip and then I will be done with my makeup look. But I'm going to keep answering questions because I love talking about me. But okay, what's the hard? Sorry, I just said what I like about being on YouTube. The hardest or most rewarding thing. I mean, the time. It's the time to do it is the hardest part, but the most rewarding part is that people are watching it and caring about it. So that makes me happy. So it's both things in one. The hardest part is setting aside the time and the time it takes to do it. But also the rewarding part is that it seems to mean something to people other than me. Also, I mean, like, the most rewarding thing was, like, I got to go to Creator and Friends. Like I've made enough of an impact that other content creators see what I'm doing in the space and think that I have, like, earned a spot in the space. And that's not to say, like, going on an influencer trip made me more valid as a YouTuber. Because, again, I always say this, but I can't emphasize enough. If you make videos and you put them on YouTube, then you are a valid content creator. Even if only one person watches them. And maybe that one person is you watching, like, you watch it back once it's uploaded on YouTube. I watch all my videos after I've uploaded them to YouTube. I always watch my videos. And it's not to boost the view count. It's just to be like, wow, look at that. It's there. I did it. Just having some validation sometimes feels nice. And having that validation felt really good. Do you like cats? That's it. That's my burning question. I do like cats, but I'm very allergic. Tiff had cats before they moved in, and I didn't tell them, that they covered the cats, but I also have a dog. Like, there were a lot of logistical things that we had to, like, figure out whenever Tiff moved in, and they had cats. I'm very allergic to them. Like, I would hang out their house, and if I took allergy medicine and I put allergy eye drops in, I could make it about 4 hours before my eyes would really start to burn and my skin would itch. Like, I'm just allergic to them, and that's sad. That's sad because I do think cats are cute. I've really come around to them. I used to not like them at all. Like you would have asked me like 2 years ago, I'd been like, ew, cats. But I like cats. It's just, I can't have a cat. I'm going to pick a lip and then I'm going to keep talking to you if you want to spend time with me. What food category could you eat for an entire year and not get tired? Sandwiches, soups, casseroles, salads, pasta. Also, what constitutes a sandwich? Is a corn dog a sandwich? Okay, bye. I mean, I could eat pizza. There's so many different toppings you could do. You could do so many different types of pizza. Is a corn dog a sandwich? I wouldn't say a corn dog is a sandwich, but I would say that a taco is a sandwich in a very loose way. What's something you learned about taking care of yourself this past year that you think we could all benefit from as well? Nothing really like matters more than like your wellness. And so if something's intruding on that wellness and you need to take a step away from it, then take your time away from it. I feel like this year was a real learning experience about work-life balance as far as YouTube goes. And I know I just like said it takes a lot of time and I put a lot of time and effort into this. But at the beginning of the year, at the end of last year, if you were here, I was talking about how like, I think last year I put a troubling amount of effort into YouTube where like in the evenings, I like just wasn't available. Like I would never cut myself off. And so this year I do cut myself off. Like, is it still like I'm working 12 hours a day? Yeah. But it's less than last time. And I wasn't prioritizing friends when they asked me last year. So, also like sometimes I've pushed videos back because I just like couldn't. I used to really ride myself for that and get really mad at myself for that. And I have done a lot of work to get over that. So my thing to you is, if you can't do it, then don't do it right now. And you can always do it later. There are very few things that are so pressing that you need to push forward and put your mental health up against something just because you think that you have to do something a certain way in a certain time period. Like you don't have to. Nothing matters that much. What's your most anticipated travel destination for the year ahead? So I don't travel too much. Funding wise, it's not always feasible. I'm going to the Catskills, so I'm looking forward to that, but it's not until September. I actually just texted Cam today and I was like, can I visit you in the spring? And they were like, yes, please. So I'll need to figure that out, but that'll probably just be a long weekend. And, they're in Atlanta, so I've never been to Atlanta. I've been in the airport, but never been. And I would like to spend, I don't think this will happen next year because it's just kind of expensive because Pittsburgh's not like a major hub. There are very few direct flights to places. And if there are, they're like absurdly expensive. I would like to spend more time on the West Coast. I would love to like go to Seattle. I would love to go to San Francisco. I want to go back to New York. I haven't been there in many years. I always want to be in Chicago. Oh, that's a question later. We'll answer that. Whenever that question comes up, we'll answer that question. What musician band has touched your soul the most? You must be new here, and I must have not talked about her in a while, but Marina is my main character. Marina, who is formerly Marina the Diamonds, that's my gal. So she's not like much older than me. Like she's like 5 years older than me. And I feel like her music and where I'm at in life and whenever her music comes out, like I'm in the place in life to receive the whatever she had been working on and going through. And that has always resonated with me. Specifically, the album Fruit came out in a very fraught time for me, and a time where I like really needed to change my attitude and outlook on life. And I feel like that whole album is kind of about, you know, self-reflection and figuring things out. But whenever she wrote The Family Jewels, I was a rotted early 20-something. And that whole album is like rotted early 20-something fodder. And Electra Heart came out also in my early 20s, which is like, no one should think like that. And, you know, Love and Fear came out I know that's like not anyone's favorite Marina album, but like it did really resonate with me because it felt like pulled back and chilling out and calming down a little bit. And like, I needed that. And then Ancient Dreams came out and it was kind of like politically charged. And I was feeling more politically charged than I ever had. And like, do I think it's the most prolific political messaging? No. Whenever I was like getting more politically charged in my personal life and feelings and things like that, it was a nice, you know, bit of music to have in the background. So yeah, Marina's my girl. Do you like punk or hardcore music? No, I wouldn't say like in the traditional sense I listen to like hardcore punk music, but I always feel adjacent to it. It's too much. I'm going to say it. It's like, I don't know. It does, those spaces often don't feel safe to me, even though that I know that there are portions of that are like very safe for me to be a part of. But I feel like my aversion to like the punk space has a lot to do with the way that punk was in the late 90s and the early 2000s. And it's like not a space for me. You guys really love the F slur. Romance advice. Clearly, we need guidance out here. Don't. If you could require everyone watch one movie, what would be Spice World? Spice World. I'm not asking you to do hard work to just watch my favorite movie. It's Spice World. And it's the Spice Girls, okay? Have you done a tattoo tour? If not, would you, or tell us about any future tattoos you may want? Favorite place that you traveled? I mean, like, I always have fun traveling. I would say that my favorite place that I actually like traveled, if I like think about it, zooming out, I loved Key West. And I wasn't expecting to love Key West, but it's such a gay little place. It's a gay little place. It's so cozy and endearing, but also just like a little bit batshit. I love that. There's this part of me that whenever I was younger, like, and I don't know if you at any point in your life were like identified as a gay man, maybe you'll resonate with this. There was something about like old gay men that like always disgusted me, and that was just honestly me being faced with the fact that I'm going to be an old gay man someday. Joke was on me. I'll be an old gay something, but man, I will not be. But there was something about that. But now there's something just about like a place in the world. And Palm Springs was kind of like this too, where it's just like middle-aged and older gay men that just are in a place where like there are bars, where there are go-go dancers, and it's like the middle of the day, and then at night, like everyone's naked. Like that used to like really gross me out. But it's like, maybe that's the life I want to live. Maybe I want to put money down a go-go dancer's underwear in the middle of the day, and at night be like naked at the bar with all of my friends. Is that so wrong? Sorry, that's a weird question. What a weird way to answer that question. A tattoo tour. Sure, we can do that. We'll start with the newest one that you guys were all here for. So this is my baby girl tattoo. So this came up one night when I was very tired, and I think a little bit tipsy. Maybe I'd come home. I'd gone out and I came home. I was a little bit drunk and Tiff was still awake. So I must not have been out too late, but sometimes that happens. Have you ever just gone really hard at 7 p.m. and you're like, you come home at like 9:30 and you're like drunk enough, but not too drunk? That was when I came home. And like, I love saying baby girl. Like, I love baby girl. I love being baby girl. I love the act of baby girl. Me and Tiff were talking about it, and like, we argue about who came up with what part. But I was like, what about baby girl tattooed on my body? And I think at first I was like, something small, something demure, something cutesy, like under my wrist, baby girl. And then one of us was like, well, what if it was bigger? And then one of us was like, what if it was under your titties? And I was like, what if it was under my titties? And so, but like, it's like, I don't know who came up with all parts of it. It was this rapid fire thing. And I was like, this seems like a really, really good idea right now, but I need to go to bed and sleep on it. And I waited a couple weeks and I was like, no, I definitely want that. And then there was also the added layer. It's like, at some point I'm going to die and someone's gonna have to do an autopsy on me. And I'm hoping that when I die, that it's not like tragic and my body's blown to smithereens. I imagine I'm dying in my sleep, very nice and very comfy. And the person who does my autopsy unzips the bag that my body's in and opens it up. And the first thing they see is baby girl. And I think that's so funny. Okay, so then this was my very first tattoo. Everyone thinks it's in Arabic or something like that, but it's not. It says weird/ballsy/painfully shy. And that is a title of a song by Leslie Hunt. And you can listen to it on Spotify. I was a big fan and we connected, and that song always really resonated with me. And I often forget that I have that tattoo, but I think it is, well, no, that's not true. The sleeve is definitely the thing that I get the most compliments or questions about. But if people do look at it, they're like, what the hell does that say? And then normally people will ask what it says. And I don't regret it. That was my first, I got it when I was 22. So it's been 22, 21. I got it like, yeah. And then I have my sleeve, which I'm not taking this top off right now, but I'll insert footage of it or like a picture of it when it was freshly done. This one's a little more somber. This one was thought out. I would love to have more tattoos. Tattoos are very expensive if you want them done very well. And the thing with my half sleeve was like, it was a piece that came together all at once. And I feel like if I do another sleeve or if I finish this off, like I need to like have a game plan a little bit more. And like this costs like $3,000 in the end. I didn't pay for that all at once. I was paying for it during the sessions. And I was like, I did 3 sessions that were like, one was 4 hours, one was 6 hours. I think maybe I did 2. I don't know. I think all together I did like 20 hours. It was very expensive piece of artwork. Steve Morris did this tattoo. He's like kind of a name in the tattoo world. I don't know a lot about the tattoo world, but what I learned afterward is like he does a lot of tattoo stuff. People know who he is, and I think he's been featured in some tattoo like coffee table books. Like he does excellent work. So that's why it was so expensive. And the precipice of the tattoo is I had a friend die of a heroin overdose when I was in my early 20s. It was tragic. She had turned 21 like a couple months beforehand. And like I got the call that it had happened while I was in summer classes at Loyola University of Chicago. It happened on the break of one of my classes, and I found that out. And I went to my teacher and I was like, "Hi, I got a call on our," because we like had like a 10-minute break, and that's when I got the call. And I like was like, "I need to go back to my apartment because I don't know what's gonna happen, but I certainly can't sit in this class." And I didn't cry there, but of course I started crying the second I was outside. And anyway, it was very devastating. I will never forget when you're that young, you feel invincible when you're early 20s. And that was very shell shocking. And I also worked with her, and I will like never forget just the absolute disbelief of that experience and the absolute wailing that was happening in the room when we were at that viewing. It was, I don't know, like it was just like it was a lot. It was a lot. I wanted to get a tattoo to like keep that in mind and like think of my friend every time I saw it. And so like it's kind of, and like it's not like one woman we work with called her Flutterby at work, and so you know obviously like it's not none of it's super original, and it's like I love the imagery of skulls, and so like in my head it's like very you know basic. It's like life and death and the flowers. The flowers were an addition to make it bigger because Steve was really great. I came in with like a rendering of an idea, and he was like, well, what if we did this? And it wasn't like he was trying to upturn. He's like, well, what if we made it a half sleeve? Would you be open to it being a half sleeve? Here's what we could do to make it a half sleeve. And it's so beautiful. I have no regrets about the tattoo. That's like my little tattoo story time. I would love to have more. I don't have like plans for more, but I would love to get like a thigh piece. Maybe something goes all the way up to my butt. You know, like I would love that kind of thing. So we'll see. Right now, I want my hair extensions. that's where I want my money to go. So I don't have anything on the docket for in the future. How do you keep yourself inspired when falling into a makeup rut? Who/what do you look for creative motivation? I don't know. So I don't find, this is gonna sound, how do I say this without disparaging myself? I'm not always in the mood to do creative makeup, and so I don't often do creative makeup, and I think back when I did a lot more creative looks, I feel like the burnout of that was much higher stakes. But if I really want to do makeup and like I don't think I can pull off the makeup look in the amount of time I have, or I often don't do like very intense looks on camera because they require a lot of time, and there's only so much memory you have on your memory card. Things only record for so long. like there's so many things that come to it. I don't normally do very detailed oriented looks on camera because it takes a lot of effort. I just find that like getting started, like honestly, like picking out a blush and be like, oh, I really want to wear this blush today. And then kind of working out from there is very helpful. I love looking at people's looks, and sometimes I get creative, you know, I get sparked creatively, but I feel like a lot of the people I follow on Instagram are much more willing to like do makeup in a way that I'm not willing to do makeup. I mean, I think when I review makeup, it's very clear to me. It's like, I think that for me, the way I want makeup to work for me is that it like works exactly the way I want it to, which makes it, I want it to go on the face very easy. I want it to do the things that I think it should do. And I want it to do it on the first try. I don't want it to do it on the third try. So it's like, I'm not looking for fussy makeup. And I think kind of building my philosophy and my makeup collection around the idea, like I want my makeup all to be like able to be put on my face and not have to think too much about it. I think that's very much helped me, but not everyone's going to want to do that because some people are very into like doing colorful looks every day and doing graphic things. And like, I just don't do that. And sometimes I do want to do that, but it's not very often. And it's just like, I don't know. I don't feel inspired to do that because I have found, follow me here. This is gender affirming stuff. I don't feel as pretty when I'm doing those looks as when I'm doing a soft smoky eye with a very beautiful sparkle on the lid. And I don't feel ugly when I do those looks, but that's like quote unquote not me when I do those looks, if that makes sense. Like, I think they're very fun to do. I'm glad that I have the skill set to be able to pull off things like that sometimes. I don't love being in those makeup looks all the time. Sometimes I do, but not always. I like to feel very soft and feminine on my face. And that's not to say that those other looks aren't soft and feminine to specific people. Not to me, not to when I see myself. There was a video and I couldn't tell you which one it was, but I left this in. I was doing a look and the colors all together, they didn't look bad. And I thought that the look was good, but I was like, is this causing me gender dysphoria? It was really crazy because it was like, it didn't look too different from what I did. It was like the colors of it. It was so weird. I was like, I like finished the video and I was like, I'm actually going to go wash this off my face because I don't want to look at this or look like this anymore. Not that Hannah did it for the same reasons, but Hannah recently did a video. Hannah Elise posted a video where she like did a look that it was like what she used to do her makeup like. She didn't say it in the video, but the video following, she was like, I had to wash it off immediately because I didn't like the way I looked. And so like sometimes it just be happening. So I like makeup that's like makes me feel like this makeup. Soft, glowy, demure, beautiful. What is something that is absolutely trivial that gets on your nerves? So many things. So many things. I'm trying to think of like, oh, this is so stupid. Okay, there's this. I don't even know how to fix it. I'm sure if I like took 5 seconds to Google. There we have like a laminate floor that like looks like hardwood on the main floor. And there's like one piece that's just loose. And when you step on it, sometimes there's a little gap in it and it drives me insane. But you can kick it back, but inevitably someone's gonna walk over it and it's gonna go become uneven again. The microwave's allowed to beep 1 time. But if you leave your food in there and you don't get it right away and the microwave's like, hello, I have food in here still. Like, shut up. I know. I'm hungry. I'm fat. I'm coming. Would you ever consider moving to another state, country, and where to? So this was earlier. I was like, oh, there's someone else asked that question. I want to live in Chicago again. I lived there for school. I went to Loyola University, Chicago, but my living situation was really bad when I lived there. And it really tainted the way I felt about the city. Now I've gone back so many times since then, like almost once a year up until a certain point, and then COVID happened. And so last time I was there was in 2021. So it's been a minute. So I would love to go back. I also would like to live there. I feel like I have achieved and met all of the people that I was supposed to meet here. And that sounds really like bad, but like also like in the queer spaces, like we don't have too many of them. I would love to be in a bigger city and meet more people. I feel like the non-binary and like trans community here is like also pretty small, and like we all know each other, and like if we're friends, it's like a different story. But like we all know of each other if we don't know each other personally, and it's like, and I don't think like I feel like a big fish in a small pond. I would a small fish that would like to be in an even bigger pond, not to get lost in the sauce, but to find myself even more. I also love going to concerts, and a lot of concerts don't come through Pittsburgh, which is so annoying, which is I have to travel, which is fun because it's a great reason to travel, but also not fun because it's expensive to do that. So if all the bands were coming to me, I could save my money and then go on a trip where I'm not going to a concert. I've never been abroad. I would love to. And I was like, I would love to go to Canada. And I would love to go to Canada. But I was like, wow, let me pick the closest thing. I feel like I would love to go. I would love to go to Europe. I think figuring out where I would feel comfortable and where people would be welcoming to me in other places would be a lot. That would be the brunt of that work. But I would like to see things. I don't even want to see touristy things so often. Like the most touristy thing I wanted to do in Palm Springs was see the Trixie Motel, which is like certainly touristy. I get that. But it's also like, I'm not interested in that. I just want to get a vibe. I want to have coffee in the morning and see all the people who are going on their way to work. What are they about? That's like what I like to do when I travel. Just like vibe. But that's not what other people want to do. Like if someone else, like if I travel with someone and we went to Europe and like, I don't know, we went to Rome, I would assume that person would want to see and go to the museums and go do all the touristy things. I would be like, I don't care about that. I just, I've never, I don't know. But like, I don't want to live internationally, I don't think. But maybe I need to go experience it to be like, is this something I could do also? What's your favorite way to celebrate you on your birthday that isn't just buying new things? Oh, take me to dinner. Take me to dinner. Take me to a nice restaurant. Buy me a cocktail or two. Spend time with me. Let me talk. That's it. And I'm so easy to please. I think that there's a misconception amongst my friends that like I want or desire more than that. But it's like, if it was my birthday and I had 10 friends and for 10 nights in a row, someone was taking me to dinner. It doesn't even have to be a fancy place. Like I love a fancy restaurant, like not fine dining, but like upscale, fun cocktails kind of place. But even if they were taking me out to Eaton Park, which I guess not all of you have, but a diner, like I'd be so pleased. Spend time with me. Spend time with me, hug me. That's it. That's it. Buy me dinner. That's it. That's how I like being celebrated. I like, I also, and what Tiff did, I think what Tiff got me is a perfect example. I was going to get hair extensions anyway. And then Tiff bought the hair extensions for me, which is, I have a propensity of buying just what, if I want it, I'll just figure out a way to buy it within reason. Of course, like, I still think about that Alexander McQueen bag that I saw in Vegas. I still haven't bought it, but it's also very expensive. I also expect that I don't expect anyone to buy that for me. That's too expensive. It's too expensive. Someone who pays attention to me and then will buy me a thing that I will use. So like I used to commute by bus to work and my phone would like die a lot on the way back from work. And so my brother bought me one year just for my birthday. And it was like, he wrapped it and everything, but it was simply like one of those charging bricks, which I could have bought for myself, but I never thought to. I was like, I just need to be plagued and inconvenienced by the fact that my phone will not continue to be alive while I travel home from work. And he bought me that. It was so thoughtful, and I used it all. I used it all the time. I used it all the time because my phone would die so fast, and it was such a thoughtful gift. The extensions, like, it's such a thoughtful gift because like I was going to do that anyway. And you're now not only saving me time and energy, like you're saving me so much. I like that. It could be something so practical that just fits into my life so perfectly. I love that kind of thing. I love that kind of thing because then it's not stuff. Like, of course, hair extensions is stuff, but it's also so much more than that. And I think what Tiff really nailed it. Tiff really nailed it. When people ask me what I want, it's like, oh, like, I think it feels so selfish to be like, I want this. And then also it's like, that ruins the surprise for me. Like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know what you're buying me. Fave way to introvert recharge. I'm also an introvert who can come off chatty and social when necessary. And I'm always down for introverts talking about it. Yeah. So, good call. I don't know. I must have said that sometime on the channel. Yeah, I would describe myself more as an introvert than I am an extrovert. Like, I love people and I love talking to people, but I also need my time away from all you. If you want one that still involves being out amongst people, but not, socializing with those people, I love a morning, like an early coffee shop on the weekend. Like going to a coffee shop. If I happen to be awake, I don't have to like put myself together for it. Like, it's like 7. I'm going to go to the coffee shop. I'm going to have coffee and just like sit. Maybe listen to music, maybe listen to a podcast, but like there's something about being out and not feeling like you're alone, but also like doing something solitary that I really like. I also love getting a meal by myself somewhere. Love going to a bar if you drink, like having a glass of wine at a bar. Like if I'm out and I'm like overwhelmed and I like don't want to be like, I don't want to come home or I don't want to do something. There's something very lovely and like fresh about that. Cause you're like out, you might say hi to some people, like pass by, maybe you'll run into someone but you won't talk to them for very long. I love that kind of thing. But I'm also a strong proponent of laying in bed and watching old YouTube videos that I've watched 100 times. Old Hannah Louise posted videos, laying in bed, like that. It's massage to my brain. Also, I find something very refreshing about listening to something I've listened to or watched like 100 million times. And I mostly do it with podcasts. So I don't watch the Real Housewives franchise. Follow me here. I don't watch the Real Housewives franchise. I don't watch any of them. Casey Wilson, who's an actor, and Danielle Schneider have a podcast about the Real Housewives. And I love Casey Wilson. And I heard that she had a podcast and it was about the housewives, and I just started listening to it and I love it. They are now behind a paywall, and every now and then I'll check in, and I don't even listen to the new ones. Whenever I rejoin, I start from episode 1 and I just listen to all of the old ones. I've listened to them so many times, beat for beat, and I say things that they've said in episodes many episodes ago that weren't one of their catchphrases all the time. But there's also some things that they say in that podcast that I just like I think everyone knows and they don't. But like listening to like old podcasts that I've already listened to and I know all the words to. Not that I could like script them out, but like, listening to that kind of, there's something about that like really does it for my brain, and it's like heaven, and I could take on anything, and I'm ready. I love that. I love a walk, but I love walking my dog, but also it's stressful to walk my dog because she's not great on a leash. And also at this point, she's 9, and it's like, what am I going to do about it? So sometimes walking with her is stressful. Sometimes walking with her is lovely. But most of the time, walking with her is stressful. But like going out and about, walking, taking a me day. I love that kind of thing. And like, doesn't have to spend money, just like going. Sometimes just going somewhere by myself sometimes is like lovely. And I love that. Oh, I love it. Oh, I feel recharged just talking about all of those things. What are a couple songs are of the soundtrack to your life? Or which songs will you be bopping on your special day? I just wanted to show some love to your channel in the Recollect podcast. So yeah, okay. First things first, Recollect podcast. I know I feel like every time we're like, we have it together, it falls apart. This takes up a lot of time. And so we are. I am going to show Tiff how to edit. So Tiff is going to take that over, but it might take some time for us to get them comfortable with it. So they're going to take over the editing duties. So I don't have to do that anymore because it just takes a long time and I have to do what I have to do for YouTube. And they want to do it because anyway, Recollect is not, there's episodes that just need to be edited that we have that are ready to go. They just need to be edited and I just haven't found time to edit them. But I did a playlist. If you're not a patron, I'll link it down below. I did it on Patreon where I put it together. I'm going to put a playlist in, someone has to remind me to put the playlist down below, but I'm going to put a playlist in the description box. It's like the 40 songs that describe my life, but more recent songs that probably will get played on my birthday. I have not stopped listening to 365 by Charlie XCX. Like I've been listening to that. I don't do cocaine, but I love that song. Am I allowed to say on YouTube? Let me rephrase that. I don't bump that. I have never bumped that, but I love that song. So good. I'll probably listen to Spice Girls, probably listen to a Marina album, you know, do my usual. But anyway, that wraps up. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on my birthday. If you would like to donate to the Hair Extension Fund, my Venmo's down below. Or you could join my Patreon or channel memberships. Those are also linked down below. You could do that if you want to support me financially. My birthday. As usual, in the pinned comment, I will have links to help families in Gaza and people who were affected by the 2 recent hurricanes in the United States. I'm not gonna do my usual thing because I feel like only the real ones probably made it this far into this video. So I'm just gonna trust that you know my sign off. So remember to follow your hoe and you'll find me. And I'll see you in a video very soon. And go for it. Tits out.